one thing that the Bible even talks about is when you start receiving something negative, you do not have to receive it. So you dish that out and you only receive the different things that are good and that are going to be helping you in some way, shape, or form. So if you're coming in contact or you spill out your feelings or something and that person ends up hurting you, then you know, okay, I know not to go to you, but I'm not going to close myself off to any other person that the Lord has placed in my way, just in case they're meant to come into my life and help me.
Welcome back to the Christ Culture Podcast. I'm Calvin.
I'm Erica.
And we are joined with a special guest today. I'm going to let Erica introduce the guest today.
So, on today's episode, we have my brother over
What's
here.
up, guys?
And I just thought that he would be a great person to bring on the show to give his little bit of wisdom that he has. Basically.
And y'all forgot about me. I'm Robert, by the way.
Rob, they all know you're here. Eric, nice to have you, man.
Thank you.
Nice to have
here.
you. Yeah. Is this your first time podcasting, or?
Oh yeah, it's the first time. I'm quite nervous right now.
Oh, you're fine, bro. You'll be fine. It'll be easy.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna talk today about depression.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of working through all the emotions lately. We've covered anger, we've covered peace. So make sure you check out those 2 episodes if you have not.
Mm-hmm.
But today we want to talk about depression.
Yeah.
That's one that hits hard, and that's one that
Definitely
so many
does.
people deal with, and so many people deal with that don't even know they were depressed at sometimes.
It could really sneak up on you.
Yeah.
It could definitely sneak up on you.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead and let's jump right into the deep end here.
All right.
Who's
Let's
been
do it.
depressed lately?
I think it honestly could just come in different ways. So to be completely honest, I would say everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something that's almost unavoidable. Like you want it to be avoidable. You want to feel like you have control over that, or like, nah, I can't get depressed. Like I'm good. Yeah. And then it'll just be something little. You think that you've already dealt with something. It's already, you've worked past it, and then there's just that little tidbit that comes up, and all of a sudden you're overwhelmed with all those emotions coming right back at you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's very easy, like we were just saying before, like it's very easy to be depressed and not know.
Definitely that.
Yeah, so I think the first thing maybe we should just talk about is what are some signs of depression maybe that you've experienced or you've seen others experience to like maybe even know that you are depressed.
Right. Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest signs that I realized that when I was going through depression was I will always sleep, and like the side of my face would start hurting. I would get headaches for no reason. Just a lot had came over me.
Yeah.
Like Robert had said, just like that one thought would come in my head that would just all of a sudden just get me real down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when you gotta really start fighting back that one thought to keep yourself up
Right.
and go about your day.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
That's so interesting. Let me ask you this, was it a situation that caused your depression? And you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Oh,
but
yeah, I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm open.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Let's dive into it.
Well, recently, about maybe 3 weeks ago, I had quit my job, and I had to get out of that situation because that job was mentally and physically draining me. So when I was doing that, I was like, nah, God, I got to get out of here. But at the same time, I knew that I was going to hurt financially, which it really did. But, you know how God says like he has you, he's Jehovah, he is our provider. So all he wants us to do is just rest in him.
Right.
But at the same time, in the human aspect, or actually as a man aspect, when you can't really provide for your family, you automatically feel like you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
You just start getting down. You start like panicking if something doesn't go your way. That stuff started hitting me real hard. So like every single day for the past 3 weeks, I had to have people really encourage me I had to make sure that I kept my helmet on because you know how God talks about keeping your full armor on.
Yeah.
So I mainly kept my helmet and my chest plate on the whole time because
Yeah.
when I didn't, I seen depression come up to me quick
Mm-hmm.
because I won't be getting out of bed till like 12 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and it hurt. But
Definitely that.
I really had to keep myself going and
Mm-hmm.
going, keep applying for jobs, and I got blessed recently.
Good.
For real.
I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
What about you?
Um, I would say like some signs could be withdrawing from people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could like just speak for me. When I was like really, really struggling with it, I just did not have a desire to just be around people.
Mm.
And now I would say just some aspects that's just me,
Mm-hmm.
where I like people, but then I like my space. Leave me alone. But and then other aspects, it's like I have a pit that's just here and it's just like tired. Like I'm not tired, but it's like you just have something just sitting there
Mm.
and you can't shake it. It just
Yeah.
doesn't leave. And I just withdrew from people. No appetite,
Mm-hmm.
not really eating. I just don't have the energy just to do anything.
Yeah.
And some things that I could see like in other people would probably be masking. Basically like faking that you're okay.
Yeah.
And when you have discernment, then you can see through those masks. So like playing it cool, like the person that's always smiling, joking and stuff, look deeper than that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see the behind their joking, behind everything that they're like putting on, they have deeper feelings that's going on, which could be depression.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah. I would say like some signs, or maybe I know at one point in my life where I was going through depression, and at the time I actually didn't even know that I was depressed, but I actually turned to the opposite of not eating, which was eating all the
Eating
time.
more.
And that was one of the biggest things for me. Being secluded, I've always been kind of a recluse myself, just to myself all the time. So I didn't really notice that as a sign, but almost experiencing an anxiety about going around other people. That was one of the signs that I experienced. And just this feeling of the season or the stage that I was in was never really going to change. Like that was just kind of what it was. Like I didn't really see, I had no vision for the future. I'll put it that way during that time in my life. Like I didn't see anything else to come when I was dealing with depression. So yeah, I think those are a few things that I dealt with.
Yeah.
But like I said, when I was going through it, I didn't, and I think that a lot of that comes from like family. For example, my father, my mother, they come from a generation. A lot of that stuff was undiagnosed. It was just like you need to get over it and
Exactly.
work and take care of your responsibilities. So I didn't really know what depression was to even diagnose it myself. So yeah. What about you, bro?
I think for me, something that like really stands out the most is like I'm not someone that enjoys being by myself too much. I kind of know if I'm doing that, then there's something going on. And so when I'm getting depressed, I all of a sudden become very isolated. And so that might not just be physically, but like emotionally, I'm not present. I don't want to be. I'm not going to talk about things. I'm going to bottle all this up. We don't need to talk about it. If I get around you, we're going to act like everything's okay. If you ask me if I'm okay, yeah, I'm good.
Yep.
And so then I'll get like real low energy. I know that's something like that really stands out. Like just I'm tired all the time. I can sleep all day if I allow myself to. Even if I do get around other people, I'm going to be the lowest energy in the room for sure. I'm not going to be able to fake that. Like I just don't have it to give. And so you're going to see it, but you're not going to know why. And so I'm going to say I'm tired. I'm going to say that I just need to get some rest. or I got some body pains. I really will have some body pains. Like that part is real, but it's just like, no, that's not why I'm not talking. That's not why these different things are happening. Also, something I've definitely noticed about myself is like when I'm starting to get down like that into a place of depression, I also don't know how to navigate other people's emotions because I'm in a place of like without care. And so since I'm like in such a dark point for myself, I don't know how to do anything for you.
Yeah.
And then that's where that starts to affect other relationships as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
That
That's
kind of
true.
leads me into the next question is like, how did depression affect those around you when you were going through it? Like, did you see a tangible difference in the way that you interacted with other people?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to speak on that one?
Yeah, it's basically just like Robert had said, like you'll be the lowest person, like the lowest energy in a room. I really did not know how to talk to people. Like I'll just basically say, I'm okay, just give me a second. Trust me, I'll be okay. But when I'm isolated, because that's what I do also, I like to be alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around nobody. Just please don't talk to me. If you talk to me, I'm gonna flip out.
That's not.
My anger just goes from 1 to 1,000 real quick, which was not good.
Yeah.
So I try my best to like play music or something like that, just to I gotta get out of here. Something just like that. Depression really beat me down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Definitely that. For me, I would definitely say that when I was going through it, um, I seen how it could affect him, it could affect my mom. And then like you were saying with like the older generation, it was more of like, okay, get up.
Yeah.
But it's like I physically can't.
Yeah.
So I definitely seen like he would force me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Erica, no, get up. Go and do this. Be brute, basically.
Yeah.
And with my mom too, it was more of a thing of I see what's going on, but I'm not going to allow you to wallow in whatever has you in this way.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a force. It was definitely a force to basically drag me to go eat, drag me to go and be with everybody. No matter if I didn't want to be around anybody, I just wanted to isolate myself. They would literally force me to sit there
Yeah.
and be with everybody in the room.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about you, Ro?
I think that like, so something for me, we're talking about like things that we do to try to get out of that, right? Or like,
More so like, how did it affect other people around you?
Yeah.
okay.
Your depression.
So I would say for me personally, I definitely become like a lot shorter tempered. And so not in a sense of like I'm gonna flip out or anything, but like little agitations, I'm not gonna be able to cover that up. I'm not gonna be able to, okay, this just bothered me a little bit, but I'm just gonna let that slide. Like, no, now I'm gonna sit on that thought. Like, why'd you just say that way? What did that mean? I'm gonna start trying to overanalyze and overthink everything, and all that becomes so much easier to do because then it's like, okay, I'm already feeling this way, and then is this? Are you trying to add something? Like I'm so much more defensive over my emotions when I'm depressed because it's like it's volatility, and so when you're experiencing like high highs or low lows, I feel like it's really easy to let something else affect that. As where if you can actually sustain that emotion, then it's a lot more balanced. It's a lot more under control. It's not so based on certain things happening or this thing happened, so now I'm feeling really great.
Yeah.
But then this thing happened and now I feel horrible. And that's where I kind of find myself. And so then that displays onto everyone else around me. Because now the things that you do and the things that you talk about around me, now I'm going to have those high or low reactions to everything that you do as well.
Yeah. I'll definitely say, like, thinking back to some of those times in my life, I was already, like I said, I was already a person who was very much to myself. So I would say that was just magnified. Like, much like you said, I didn't want to be around people. Like I just, and I was very like short with them in my answers and how I talked to them. Like, in like in hindsight, like I can see how it made them feel, like especially like my mother, my father.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you're going through that to like have any space to consider another person's feelings.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this is weighing on me so heavily. Like I don't have the capacity to deal with
Right.
even care like how it's making you feel, which when you're looking back on it, it's not good, but in the moment you really don't have it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have something to give to somebody else. Yeah. So, Eric, I want to come to you for a second. What if somebody else is going through depression now? Let's say somebody you know is going through depression. How would you deal with them with the perspective of you having gone through it yourself now? Like, how would you deal with somebody else who's going through depression?
One of the biggest things that I did see from my sister, because she's the main one that helped me get myself up. So when I seen her down, I will basically try to uplift her any type of way I can. Like, for example, if I see her waddling in her bed, just sitting there, even with my mom, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to do this and that. I don't allow that, because I feel like that's defeating them. When I seen how bad it beat me down, I did not want to see them go through the same pain that I did. So I made sure that I get them some food, force them to eat sometimes, drink, get up, let's go walk outside, do whatever, play some games, whatever's gonna like wake you up, make you laugh, make you happy.
Yeah.
Because I don't like seeing nobody in any type of sadness or just anxiety. I try to do my best to uplift them any type of way I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And that has to be like a fine line to walk, right? Because you want to give people the space to feel how they need to feel for a certain amount of time. But you also like know that if they stay in that space for too long, it's not good for them.
Exactly.
And so like you kind of have to push a little bit at some point. Like you have to just say, I know you're going to be frustrated with me. I know this is not going to make you happy, but I have to push you out of this. I can remember back like during the time when I was sick and I had to move into my mother's house, and it was just weeks and weeks going by and I was just wallowing and I was just down and everything that I said was just hopeless and helpless. And one day my mom just literally started yelling at me. Like, you can't do this. You can't just sit here and act like this and be like this and talk like this. It's not going to change if you, like, she was like literally yelling at me. And in the moment I was like, how dare you? Like, I was so mad at her. I was like, how dare you? Like, do you know what I'm going through right now? And you're yelling at me, like basically telling me to just stop going through it. Like I have any control over that. But looking back, it was much like you just said, like she knew that I was at that point to where if she didn't push me, I would just stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So you kind of have to push people out of that. But how do you walk that line though, of knowing when to push and when to like, okay, they're actually going through something, I need to allow them to feel what they're feeling?
For me, I would really say give a person a day or two. Feel how you feel. Feel however you want to feel. You have 2 days. You're lucky I'm even giving you 2 days. But you have 2 days to feel how you're going to feel. After that, I need you to gather yourself. I know you're still going to feel the feels, but I need you to get yourself together, get up, and then we got to start walking.
Yeah.
We're going to start walking, because if you're just going to allow yourself to just lay here, you've already given the enemy the upper hand of absolutely everything, because he already came to steal, kill, and destroy. You're just literally saying, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't have any strength. That's where you literally is like, okay, I don't have strength. God help me.
Yeah.
And you're going to be frustrated with those people, but let them help.
Yeah. I want to come back to that later where you say you have to just get up and walk, because I know that firsthand.
Yeah.
But I want to for a second go to the fact that there's kind of a stigma, or at least in the past there was a stigma before society kind of shifted into the whole mental health era where that became like a big thing. There was kind of a stigma around stuff like depression. Like,
Oh yeah.
depression is bad. Don't say you're depressed. Like, they're
Seriously,
going to put you
yeah.
on medication. You don't want to be that. Like, there was this
Yeah.
whole thing around it.
Yeah.
But I think now that's shifted a lot, and it's much more
Definitely.
like, hey, if this is happening to you, guess what? It's happening to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
there are outlets. But did any of you experience that stigma or like not wanting to admit to others or yourself that you were actually depressed?
Definitely that. Definitely that. I would just say for me, because for me, I have, he has too, but just for me, I've been through like a lot regarding mental health. And me dealing with like, and when I was dealing with like really, really bad anxiety, really, really bad depression, I could not do it. So I did. I went to the doctor and I was like, okay, look, I'm feeling like this. I'm having these horrible thoughts in my head. What do I do?
Yeah.
And then already me saying that, it brought me shame. Because like what you normally hear is, okay, if you're thinking about something like this, you're crazy.
Yep.
And that makes a person want to shy away from even getting help. But when I started to recognize that also God places doctors, God places other people to be able to help you. So I took them, my mom and my brother. They were with me, and we start talking about everything. The doctor was like, "Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this." That I would say, it started to make you feel like you don't deserve to like tell other. I don't really know how to explain. Like, it starts to make you feel some type of guilt in some way, because it's something that's so looked down on. But I mean,
So did you feel in a way like you were kind of passing your burden on to
basically,
them
yeah,
by bringing it up and
Yeah.
talking about it? And
I definitely
okay.
did.
Yeah. Rob, you had something?
So that's something that's like definitely huge, has been huge for me. So for one, growing up, I've been in a household full of women. Everyone in my immediate family, besides my little cousin, and I have another cousin that no longer lives there, but so everyone in the household has been females, and so there's like this like natural this natural responsibility of being the emotional support, of being the median and kind of keeping everyone together. And so in that, you're not given the space to like do for yourself. You don't have the space to process things on your own and not have to play a role of stability for someone else. Specifically in things happening in family, you know, you don't get to grieve. You don't get to process things because now you're playing this role for everyone else to try to hold them all together. And then also like just a simple fact of being a young Black kid from around the way, you know what I'm saying? Everyone that you know, there's like this stigma behind like, oh, you're feeling down. Like, oh, look at you. Like now you're weak. Now you're this, now you're that. And so you kind of end up in a situation where both at home and when you walk outside the door, you're always putting up a front.
Yeah.
You're always trying to mask what's really going on. You're always trying to make it look like you're okay. And when you spend so much time trying to make it look like you're okay, it just makes it worse because you never get the chance to process things on your own.
Yeah.
Definitely that.
That just makes me like think of how many people in their friend group or in their family are the strong person.
Yeah.
And they have to maintain that even when they're going through something. And then like, who do they go to? When it's their turn to go through something, who do they go to? And I think that's probably another big part of a lot of people's depression. Like you were just saying, it's like, how do I shift out of this role, being the strong one all the time, and deal with my own depression?
Yeah.
But one of the things that really helped me in that season, much like we were just talking about, kind of pushing people out of that space, was for myself, was hearing my father talk about it. When I was going through that whole situation one day, my father picked me up and we were just in the car and we really didn't have anywhere to go. We were just kind of driving. And the whole time we're driving, for whatever reason, my mind had been going to some horrible places for a couple of weeks. And we were in the car, and the whole ride, I was just contemplating, like, do I say something or do I not say something? Like, this is my dad. This is the man who's always been Superman. Like
Yep.
nothing can happen to him. I've never heard him talk vulnerable to me like that. So I'm
Yeah.
like, is he gonna look at me as less of a man?
Right.
But for whatever reason, that day in the car, I just opened my mouth and I asked him, and I said, "Dad, have you ever done therapy?" And he just kind of stopped, like everything he was doing, and looked at me. He said, "Yeah, I have." And I said, "Did it help you?" And he was like, "It helped me more than you can ever imagine." And then I opened up and I told him, I was like, you know, my mind's not being in the best place and I've been thinking about it. And he really just kind of told me that, you know, he had dealt with depression before and he had to go get help. And for me, that was like the most releasing thing, was just to hear. I was like, oh my God.
You're not alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think there's just kind of power in that, of hearing or seeing someone else who you look at as strong, admitting that they've gone through that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the other biggest things that I've seen that really made a difference for myself is I was tired of being tired.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get to the point of, you know what? I'm just gonna take a risk. Screw it. I'm gonna go talk to this man or woman to get healing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was so tired of holding all my emotions in,
Mm-hmm.
to where all of a sudden, like my sister seen it. We were watching football. Then all of a sudden I just started busting out crying.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why am I crying? But then the Lord had to show me that I was holding so much inside of myself that I didn't have nowhere else I didn't know where to put it.
Yeah.
I had to let go somehow.
Yeah.
So right then and there, he was just ministering to me, saying that I need to rest in him
Right.
and have peace in him, because he is my peace.
Mm-hmm.
Lay my burdens upon him and he'll make my life easy.
Yeah.
And that's what I started doing when I took that first step of just talking to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
My life changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So what do we tell people though who don't, like you said, you just took a risk? Is that what we tell people? Just take a risk? Because some people are like, I don't know who to tell though. Like I don't know who to go to. And I think a fear for a lot of people is if they go to the wrong place and let it
Yeah.
out.
gonna get
I
hurt.
was just about to say, I think we should really be careful about just saying take a risk.
Yeah.
Because from personal experience, taking that risk, that can end up backfiring so far.
Mm-hmm.
And you finally work up the courage. You finally work up the ability to just be honest and talk about what's going on with you. And then, I mean, for men specifically, like the crushing blow it is to finally open up and be told to man up.
Yeah.
Like to be told to toughen up, get over it. In that moment that you literally just put it all on the line, you just spilled out your heart. You have been working for months to even put this into words. And then now you're told, yeah, but man up.
Yeah.
Like that's, what do you do then? Because you already just spent so much time trying to get to the point of even holding this conversation. Now you finally have. And then you're reminded of every reason, everything you thought, everything that possibly could have went through your mind to tell you not to do this.
Yeah.
That just happened.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah. It's like one of the biggest fears in that is that, in addition, like if you go to somebody and you open up like you were just talking about,
Yeah.
another big fear for people is, am I giving this individual ammunition to use against me later?
Yeah.
Because especially when you are considered that strong one in your friend group or in your family or in your relationship or whatever it is, those individuals develop a picture of who you are.
Exactly.
Right.
In the moment you stop acting like who they know you to be,
Yeah.
they treat you very differently.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if they've known you to be that strong person and to deal with them that way and always to be the solid rock, and then all of a sudden you're breaking down.
Now you're falling short.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
falling short of their expectation of who you're supposed to be for them.
Exactly.
It's a very selfish thing on their part, but
Yeah.
that's how it is. And now you just end up with the short end of the stick. Like either I man up now and just push it back down like I was doing before,
Right.
or like what do I do from here?
Yeah.
So like we were saying, you just have to be very cautious and selective about who or what outlet you're going to let that out. You can't just do it to anybody. It's
Definitely not.
yeah.
I would say this is for anybody that truly, truly, if you are going through that, then you have to make the step and you have to make the decision and place it in your mind that I'm going to step out and find help. Whether it's you go online or you go to the doctor and you're like, do you know any therapists? Like asking those questions. But you have to step out and do that.
Yeah.
So we're all adults. So it's time for us to grow up, one, and start to try to do those things. If you're going through anything like mentally or anything, search up therapist online. Just start somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed.
Yeah. I think that's a big lesson for people, is to start somewhere. And
Right.
some people listening might be saying, it's too big of a step for me to go from this to talking to another human being.
Right.
Yeah.
Write it down.
That's what I was going to say. If you can't open up your mouth and talk about it,
Write it down.
write it down, and only you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write
Until
it
you
down
can
in
get
a
to
journal.
that next point. But the important thing is to not just let it build up and harbor, because it will fester and it will turn into something
Yeah.
way bigger than it was in the first place.
It will turn into a lot of anger.
Definitely
Sometimes
that.
suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything can just pop up.
Yeah.
It's not worth me being in here anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So
Write it all down.
just write it down. You need to just find outlets to get it out. That's the most important thing in the beginning. And then once you find somebody or you come across a resource that you feel comfortable with, take it slow. Like you don't have to go in and spill your whole story
This is what is going on.
to somebody right away, but just do it at your own pace. What makes you feel okay, safe, and comfortable.
Yeah.
But let's go back for a minute, because what can we offer people who have maybe made that step to tell somebody and it didn't go well for them? And now they're in the space of, well, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
But that's actually detrimental to them.
It is. Your whole life is going to be something that is a trial and error. So there's going to be different people that are not meant for you. There's a person meant for everybody, that somebody's going to be able to pour into your life, somebody that you may not receive anything from. One thing that the Bible even talks about is when you start receiving something negative, you do not have to receive it. So you dish that out and you only receive the different things that are good and that are going to be helping you in some way, shape, or form. So if you're coming in contact or you spill out your feelings or something and that person ends up hurting you, then you know, okay, I know not to go to you, but I'm not going to close myself off to any other person that the Lord has placed in my way, just in case they're meant to come into my life and help me. You can't close yourself off, because also you're stopping different blessings and your healing from taking place.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Another thing that I had to do is when I was too afraid to talk to somebody and I had a lot of anger built up in me, I usually just go to my car and I just start talking. And just
That's good
talk.
too. That's good.
Because when you're new to Christ and you really don't know how to pray or anything like that, you don't have to make him no fancy prayer talking
Just
to God.
talk.
Just talk.
Yeah.
So he is your counselor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just start saying how you feel. It doesn't matter if you start cussing, no matter. Just
talk.
release.
I was just about to say, that's the best part about talking to God, is you can be your true authentic self and he's going to
Yes.
accept you regardless. He doesn't care if
Seriously.
you cursing. He don't care
He
if you're
doesn't
angry,
care
if you're
about
mad, if you're
anything.
throwing stuff. He still loves you anyway, just the
He's
same.
telling you, bring it to me.
Yep.
Lay
That's
it
what he
all down
wants.
to me. I see that you want to run this person over. I'm trying to throw a machete at this person. He said, bring it to me.
Yeah.
I want to hear about all your problems.
Yep. That's really good, Eric. To
Yeah,
just
I like that a lot.
find a space where you can just talk, even if it's just out loud to yourself.
Yeah.
Because God can hear you. He can hear you.
And one thing is, he will bring you that peace.
Yeah.
So no matter how you feel, if you don't want to go outside talking to nobody, just sit there and just release. That's what I did, and it really helped me take that first step, because instead of me getting ruined by one person, I had a lot of peace inside of me to have the strength to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You already been knocked down all the way before with all depression, all this other mess you've been going through. And so it really doesn't matter. You have nothing to lose. Just keep
That's true.
trying.
Yeah.
That's all I did. Just keep on trying. Then I met that one person, and
You got your healing.
I got my
from it.
help.
Yeah.
My whole family did. Still
Yeah.
going through it. We're getting help.
Yep.
That's good. I didn't even think of it like that.
Really.
Yeah.
You can also like in those moments too, until you find that person, that could be part of your prayer to God. Like, reveal who this person is or what this resource is that I need, God, because I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to tell, where to go.
Yeah.
I need you to reveal that to me, and I need you to make it plain for me because I have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
But that's like a really practical, good thing that people can do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
write it down, talk about it out
Talk
loud.
about it by yourself.
Yeah.
Pour your feelings out to God. Just be regular.
Mhm.
Don't try to uphold yourself. I have to just stay absolutely righteous. Like, not talk to God. That is your dad.
Yeah.
Talk to him.
And your best friend.
And your best friend. He said that he's going to stick closer to you than a brother.
Yeah.
Talk to him.
Yep.
He's everything that you need in that one moment.
Yeah.
Anytime in your life, he's right there for whatever you need. Mother, father, sister, brother.
Sister.
He's that.
He's
one
everything.
person.
He's everything in one.
Everything
Literally.
in one package. And so that's the one. That's the reason. One of the reasons why I love the Lord so much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't know why this just popped in my head. Y'all remember the show Dora?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little backpack.
Backpack.
Like, whatever you needed was in that
Come
backpack.
on, let's get to it. I know that you
That's
can
God.
do it.
It's like whatever you need was in that backpack. And that's like
Yeah.
God. He's like, all you got to do is talk to me. I got whatever.
map.
He is.
Yeah.
See?
He is. He is.
He's everything.
Yeah. A thought that we were talking about a little bit earlier, though, you were saying just get up and walk.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about that for just a second,
Yeah.
because outside of just talking to people or getting it out, we got to give people some other things that they need to actually be doing to help themselves come out of depression.
Yeah.
So like when you start taking medications or even when you start to talk about it, you don't just wake up the next morning and you're
Like,
all good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
No.
It's like a very long process.
Yeah.
And
Definitely is.
we have to be honest about that. Like, it's a journey to come out of a depression. It's not an overnight situation.
Absolutely.
And I know for myself, one of the things that I dealt with was like when I finally got to that point, and I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but the kind of catalyst moment for me coming out of that sickness was I had a surgery, and the doctors basically told me, when you have this surgery, we think everything's going to kind of get better for you. And I had the surgery and nothing changed. And I was at the lowest point I had ever been in my life, because I'm like, oh, it's over.
Right.
Like, what was supposed to help me is not even going to help me now.
Yeah.
And excuse me, I went to sleep one night. I was in my mother's house during this time, and I went to sleep, and I had a dream, and my deceased grandmother was sitting on the edge of the bed that I was laying in my mother's house. And she looked at me and she said 2 words, and she said, "Gotta die." And I can see it so vividly. She just said, "Gotta die." And I woke up literally the next morning, and I was furious with God. I was like, there's no way you've brought me through all this, put me through all this. I've been miserable for months now. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I'm getting blood taken every other day. I'm having tests. I'm having surgery. You put me through all this. You made my mother watch me deteriorate right in front of her eyes. All for me to die? I could not accept that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later, well, let me say this. It was like a couple days later, I just kind of looked in the mirror one day and I said, look, if we're going out of this world, we're going out with a fight. We're not going to lay in the bed and just let it take us. And I got up the next day, and I literally just got on the ground and start trying to do push-ups, and I couldn't even do 2. It was like horrible, but I was like, I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't care how my body feels. I don't care how sick I feel. I don't care if I fall out. I don't care if they got to take me to the hospital, whatever. And I went in my mom's backyard. It was wintertime. I put my coat on. I went in my mom's backyard, and I was literally walking laps around her yard on the edge of the fence in the backyard. And then the next day I was like, I'm going to go out, and I grabbed one of the kids' basketballs, and I was in the yard dribbling the bat. Like, I got to the point to where it was like, I'm going to do something.
Yeah,
And I
tired.
do
You're
not
not
care
giving up.
what comes out of it. I don't care if I
Right.
get hurt. I don't care. What I'm not going to do is lay here and
Exactly.
just let it take me.
Yeah.
Yeah, tired of it.
So like you were saying earlier, just get up and walk. Get up and do so. I was doing crossword puzzles.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. Do
Do
not let
something.
this thing take you.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will definitely feel like, for me, I was in a place of where I just did not want to be here anymore. Like, I was just so ready. What's the point of life? I'm hurting everybody else around me. Like, why am I even here for?
Yeah.
I didn't care about myself anymore. So with self-harm and all of that stuff, it's definitely a thing of where you have to make it a decision
Yeah.
and a priority inside of your mind that, nah,
We ain't going out like
we're
this.
not going out like that.
Yeah.
No. So you're going to feel the way that you feel, but get up,
Yeah.
put everything down. One, you're beautiful. Put everything down. You do not have to hurt yourself. You don't have to change yourself. Put everything down. Accept you for who you are. Yeah, you may be jacked up. Cool. We're past that.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So, one, if you like to go and take a walk, go. If you like to go to the gym, go to the gym. If you want to go to a rage room because you're like angry, go to a rage room. Like, just go do something.
Yeah.
But you must not stay where you are, because once you're idle, once your mind is just in a place of just there, you're giving the enemy free reign, because that's the first place that the enemy will like to attack is your mind.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure, one, keep your mind stimulated at all times. And don't drown it out by watching YouTube videos or Instagram or social media or anything like that, because then you're going to start comparing.
Yeah.
And don't run to the bottle.
Exactly. Don't run to the bottle. Don't run to anything like that.
Yeah.
Get deep rooted help.
And it's important to just reiterate that while you're doing those things, you're still going to feel how you feel.
You will.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like you're
You're gonna
still going to
feel
be
it.
feeling all that stuff, but that too shall pass.
It will. It
just
has
just
to come
keep
to
up
an end.
and keep going.
Yeah.
And just real quick to finish that story, I didn't learn until almost 8 or 9 months later why my grandmother said gotta die in that dream. It wasn't until June 19th of 2022 when I called my father and accepted the calling on my life, I eventually realized what she was saying to me in the dream.
Ooh,
She was saying, son, the old version of you has got
to die.
to die.
Yeah.
So this new version of you can be born. And that was the process that I was in. So while I was sitting there and she was saying, gotta die, I was furious, but God was like talking to me in a dream.
Yeah.
God was like telling me, the reason that you're in this is because I am killing off a version of you that I can't take where I'm trying to get you to.
That's good.
I can't allow this version of you to show up in the place that I have set aside for you,
right.
Yeah.
because this version of you will mess it up.
Right.
That is
So
good.
I've got to shed this version of you off so this new version of you can awaken.
Yeah.
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 One thing that made me think about was, now I can definitely speak to people that know that the Lord has called you in some type of area into ministry, and you're trying your best to run away from that because you're worried about how somebody else is going to look at you, how somebody else is going to react if you were like doing anything related to ministry. If you're going to run away from that calling and not give God your yes, you will end up depressed. And you're going to stay in that predicament until you give God your yes. And then he's going to be like, okay, now I can take you out of this. He will put you in a position of where he needs your attention.
Yep.
Now all you have to do is turn to me. There is no other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. It's definitely what he did with me.
I was there too. So
It's like, I got to get you quiet. I got to
Yeah.
get you by yourself.
By
And
yourself.
I'm going to keep you there until you turn to me.
there you go.
Yeah.
He will lay you flat on your back. You gonna listen now? Like,
Yeah. So
tough love.
that's, and people deal with depression for a million different reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has their own traumas and things that they're going to. But it might be worth you asking the question, God, what is it in this season that you want me to learn or see
Exactly.
or come to?
Yeah.
Because there might be more than just sadness and,
Right.
and hopelessness in that season. There may be some seed, some nugget
Yeah.
that God wants you to see in that season.
Yeah.
So it might be worth you asking him the question, hey, God, I know this season sucks. I know I don't want to be here. I know I hate it here, but I don't want this season of my life to be wasted.
Right.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you have here for me,
Show me.
let me find that.
Yeah.
Let me find some solace and some peace in the fact that I'm getting that out of this season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely that.
Depression.
Tough conversation
Yeah.
to have.
It
to be
was,
honest.
but I think it was very necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we pray that somebody was blessed by something in
Yeah.
this conversation for sure.
One thing I definitely wanted to say
Yeah.
is that anybody that is going through depression, you are not defined by your mother's mistakes. You're not defined by your father's mistakes. You're not defined of what you came from or what you may see around you. That is not who you are.
Yeah.
He looks at you more precious than rubies, more than gold. You are not just a product of mess.
Yeah.
You are a diamond. So it's gonna suck. It is. But people just have to remember, you're not what you came out of. You're not what you're living in. You're more than that.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
Whew. I feel like we just need to take a deep breath. after
Yeah.
that
Yeah, I know.
conversation.
No, it's tough. I mean, just having a conversation about it kind of forces you to like really look at yourself and
Yeah.
wait, where am I at though?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It does. It does. Just reevaluate some stuff.
I know.
a quick reality
Run
check.
back to therapy. Run back to therapy.
All right. It's that time of the show. A little bit of SOS, subject
Oh
on the
my.
spot.
Oh my.
60 seconds. You get 60 seconds, you get a subject, and you got to make magic. Who's going first?
We're gonna let our guests go first.
Oh, Eric's going to go first
Yeah.
today. Nice. You
Let's
time
do
him?
it.
You got a timer?
Yeah, let's do it.
You got a topic, Rob, or you need me to do it?
You want to throw a topic out there?
I'll throw a topic out there.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Thumbtack. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, one of the things that a thumbtack does is hold you up. God said that He is your right hand. He said, I will uphold you to the fullest. He will protect you. He will provide you. And He will show that I am God. All you have to do is sit back and let me show you. This is what I am. This is what I'm here to do. And also, He likes to do things for you that'll make you look like holy mess. I love surprises. God, that's what God does. He's your holder. He's your anchor. He is your heart. And He also wants you to be like, God, I want you to have my heart. So one of the things that He really says is that, let me show you who I am. Let me be your peace. Let me be your guide. Let me be your water. Let me be your love. Your number one in life. When you let me be that one thing in your life, everything will come in place, and success will come your way.
You had 60 seconds, sir. Your timer is done.
I'm sorry.
Amen.
That boy was talking.
we weren't going to interrupt the sermon.
No.
Absolutely not.
He's the preacher.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Who's up?
I'll go next.
All right, let's do it.
Let me give you something, Rob.
All right.
That was good.
Rob, you got the timer again?
Yeah.
Your topic is outlets.
Outlets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
All right. So everything needs an outlet. Now, when you say the word outlet, that could be taken multiple ways. You can be talking about an outlet to relieve things, or you could also be talking about an outlet that gives you that spark that jolt of electricity, that thing that gives you the power to go. And in a lot of ways, our God provides both of those things for us, because we don't have to shoulder things alone. We don't have to sit and battle things all on ourselves, like the topic of this video today with depression. We don't have to do it alone, and we are not alone. But it's up to us on whether we allow that outlet to be ours or not. And do you have God on your side? Because that was up to you. He's going to be there no matter what. And also, are you going to let him provide for you? Are you going to let him be that source of electricity, that thing that charges your battery, that thing that turns that light on? Because that light switch is not turning on unless it's plugged into the outlet. And God is our outlet.
Amen.
Okay.
I want to do it again.
All right, Calvin.
Eric, I'm gonna need you to like jump or something when it's a minute.
Okay.
Give me a good signal.
Okay. You give him a topic.
All right, sure. Clouds.
Ready?
Sure.
Go.
Clouds in the sky. Sometimes we look up at the clouds in the sky and our mind can trick us into thinking it looks like something. Looks like a face. It looks like an animal. It looks like something that we know. God is very much like that because God is ever shifting. God can become whatever you need him to become. All you have to do is look and seek his face. So when you look up at the clouds and you see them moving by, just be reminded that each one of those clouds represents a different version of God. And that's why the clouds never stop, because he has endless versions. He can be your supplier. He can be your healer. He can be your resurrector. He can be anything that you need him to be. Clouds can bring rain when the ground's fertile. Clouds can bring shade when it's too hot outside. Clouds can be whatever you need them to be, and so can God. So let him be that.
And can I get an amen?
Amen. 55
Hey.
seconds.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
was
we
good.
need to do this again.
That was good.
Like all these things are popping up in my head. I'm ready to roll.
We got to bring Eric back on so he can do SOS again.
Just SOS.
Yeah,
Run it
I
back.
can run it back.
Oh man! And by the end of the season, we're definitely going to be putting together an SOS compilation.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
For sure.
I would love to do that.
For sure.
Oh, that's a guarantee.
Eric, thank you so much for being on, man. This was a great conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed
Awesome.
it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it so much. So I'm sure we'll have you back on in the future.
Yes, please.
We love you,
Yeah.
Bubba.
Oh, thank you.
We love you.
Yeah.
No.
So this has been another episode of the Christ Culture Podcast. We talked about depression today. We got some more emotions coming up for you. Make sure you subscribe, like everything, follow us on all the platforms, and make sure you leave us some comments.
Yes.
Hey, and in the comment section, we're talking about depression. So go ahead and use that comment section as an outlet if you need to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all here. We're all going to read comments. But not only that, but there might be someone in that comment section that is going to have a story that relates a lot to yours.
Yeah.
And you don't want to talk to someone or you're having a hard time like sharing those things and speaking face to face. Well, that anonymous person that doesn't have their name as their username, anime profile picture, you know what I'm saying? That can be something for somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That can be your first step into sharing, into releasing those things. So please don't be afraid. You don't know where you're going to find help.
No.
And a lot of forms of it is scary, but in a sense like that, where you don't have to look someone in their eyes and spill your heart out, you know, go ahead and do that if that's what might help you.
And if you guys need prayer, just type it and I'll pray for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
She's the prayer warrior.
I'm the prayer
She got
warrior, guys.
Absolutely.
So I will intercede for you guys and pray for you guys. So just do not be afraid to leave anything down below. Yeah.
We appreciate you guys and your support, and we will catch you same time next week.
Peace.
Peace.